Hey, folks, what's up? Let me know if you can hear and see me well and all that good stuff. Thanks for being here. We're going to get into an excellent piece by Yanis Varoufakis. He's a well known economist from Greece that is very highly respected. We're going to get into him talking about how it's time to fight, even if it's too late. And he just puts it in such beautiful terms and the way he crafts it, the way he crafts this battle that we're all in, whether we know we're in it or not. Isn't that the nice thing about it? You may feel, those of you who have woken up and understand what's going on here in the world, you may feel alone, but the truth is everyone else is in it. They just don't know it yet. Oh, man. That's going to suck when they find that out. I'm also going to reveal an anniversary in WikiLeaks history, something everyone should know, but many people don't. I'm going to be talking about the more hilarious bullshit from the U.S. empire in regards to Iran. But moving into the positive territory, God forbid we have some good news, right? More companies signing up for a 4-day work week, and you get paid the same as if you had a 5-day work week. And I'm going to get into all the details of that because that could become a very serious trend that sweeps a lot of other businesses. And depending on what type of place you work at, maybe you can put the little brain virus into your boss, your captain, your major, your colonel, whatever the fuck the guy's name, your chieftain, whatever the head honcho, whatever the guy's name is. You can slip it in his ear. Put a little brain virus in. Hey, what about 4-day work week? But you'll see it makes a lot more sense, even for fucking cutthroat, awful capitalists than you think. So I'm going to get into that. I'm going to play a brief clip from my interview with Alan McLeod about how Call of Duty, the video game, is a government psyop, and we have new information regarding that. It's pretty mind-blowing stuff. Anyway, thanks for being here. Share this, thumbs up, all that good stuff. All right, let's do it. Let's fucking do it. And thanks for being somewhere where you're getting the information that you don't get on the mainstream media. They wouldn't be talking about really any of this. The stories they are talking about that I'm also talking about is usually stuff that they said that I'm mocking them for saying because they're like mainstream media. It's just like besides the general propaganda where they're outright lying to you, it's just designed to put a giant bucket of like a Jello mold over people's heads, just a giant Jello mold over everybody's heads. And so that you see reality through just a blurry, confused, what's happening? And that's, if you really watch CNN, like really watch it, like 3 hours a day, that's what you're in. You're in a big bucket of Jello over your head. They should make that their motto. We're CNN. We're like having a bucket of Jello on your head at all times. Enjoy. Not for eating. You can't eat it. If you eat it, it's toxic. You'll die. Just for the senses. Just for understanding reality. Okay. So, again, this is from Yanis Varoufakis. He's a well-known Marxist economist, but he's also a politician and a former finance minister of Greece. And people who like economists fucking love this guy. People who are smart and actually care about what economics is doing to our society, they love Yanis. Yanis is a superhero. He's a rock star in the economist community, the leftist economist community. So, and actually, this is going to be at least a 2-part series on what he's talking about here, because he gets into a debate that was had between Chomsky and some others, and I'm not going to get into that on this episode because the first part stands alone, but I will get into that in another episode. He says, our task to inspire the rebellion against the legalized robbery of people and earth, even if it's too late. And by earth, he doesn't mean stealing dirt. He means they are stealing the earth. They're pretty much all of it. They're stealing all of the earths. So he says, have we humans passed the point of no return down the path to ecological ruin? Does ruin without end loom black across the land, the air, the oceans? I hope not. But regardless, I don't think it matters. What matters is what we do and how we do it from now on until our last breath. And honestly, I don't know how much you guys, some of you may, many of you may not care about my personal view on my day to day and that kind of thing, my personal kind of philosophy. I mean, I tell you a lot of my philosophies, but I perhaps don't get into my personal feelings in terms of like, how do you keep doing it? And I mean this for you too, but how do you fight day in and day out about these issues when some of them are so depressing, some of them are so hard to hear, some of them are so like it just seems like a lost cause. And this speaks perfectly to what it is. It is, maybe it's too late. Maybe, who knows? I don't fucking know. It could be too late. But I'll tell you this, I'm going to spend this life, this one I've got, I'm going to spend it fighting because maybe it's not too late. And philosophically, that's what it comes down to, right? Whether we don't know for certain it's too late. I mean, most people don't claim to know that. Even those who are saying it's probably too late, they don't know for certain it's too late. And so, you take to be understood that people don't know for certain that it's too late. They don't know for certain that it's not. We're in a middle ground right now. But if we don't know for certain that it's too late, doesn't it make just all the sense in the world to fight like hell? Maybe it is too late, but I'd rather say I fucking went down swinging. When I have to explain to my kids or grandkids or whatever the fuck, where were you when there was a chance to save this thing? When there was a chance to have a livable Earth? I want to say, you know what? I was working my goddamn ass off trying to talk about it and deal with it and fight for it and give solutions and give criticisms and get people to see outside of the shit show of the bullshit that you're being fed from the U.S. empire. And that goes for those of you, many of you are in other countries, you're still being fed about the bullshit from the U.S. empire. So, someone I remember I saw put it in the chat. It's a quote I often reference. I got it from Chris Hedges, but when I mentioned it to him, he said it was not his, but I don't recall where he said it originates. He said it was his paraphrasing of another quote from someone. But you don't fight fascists because you think you'll win. You'll fight fascists because they're fascists. End quote. Like, maybe we fucking won't win, but I don't want to be the guy that's like, yeah, I'm not fighting the fascists. All right, so to continue with what Giannis is saying, whatever we do from now on may, I acknowledge, prove insufficient for preventing the collapse of organized human society. Even so, radical humanists ought to think it necessary to do our best to resist civilizational collapse. My focus shall be on what we can do as activists to help translate humanity's remaining capacities into the necessary praxis, into the collective actions that will permit us jointly to say, we did our damnedest. And he says we did our damn best. I will adjust his quote to, we did our damned fucking goddamn fucking best. We fought as hard as we fucking could. And I'm not saying I do. I'm saying I want to get there. I want to be a better person. I want to get to the point that I can say I have fought my fucking hardest. Right now, I'm fighting hard. I'd say hard. I want to be in the place where it's like, it was as hard as I can fucking fight. That's where I want to be one day. He continues, two of our greatest obstacles, and I totally agree with this. Baseless optimism is one, although I know very few people with that, and self-indulgent pessimism is the other. So baseless optimism, obviously, and I think there's a lot of people who have this that don't say it outright. So there's not a lot of people walking down the street going, I think everything's going to be fine. They don't have t-shirts on. Everything's going to be fine. I don't think there's a lot of that. I think that a lot of people have baseless optimism internally and they aren't really talking about it. So I think that a lot of the people who don't spend a lot of time talking about the climate crisis or talking about the environmental destruction, talking about losing 50% of all land animals over the past 40 years. I think that internally they're thinking they got it. The guys, the people leading the things will do the stuff. They'll fix the thing, eventually. Maybe they're not doing enough now, but they'll fix it when push comes to shove. They'll fix it. No, they won't. No, they won't. They will only fix it if push comes to pushing them, and they're at the edge of a building, and then they might be like, all right. But yeah, no, they're only going to do anything to help this situation, this ongoing situation of environmental collapse, if they feel they have no other option. Because capitalism uniquely puts and specifically puts sociopaths at the top. So those who think that other humans don't matter, only their own greed matters. It's not just like by coincidence they ended up ruling things. Oh shit, the bad guys got up there. No, this system promotes them. This system looks at them and goes, are you a socio? You don't understand that other people are humans and they don't matter. And if 500,000 children die because of your economic sanctions, because you don't like a country, that's fine. Okay, come on in. You're going to run things. So anyway, that's why we have sociopaths at the top. Not, it wasn't a whoopsie. All right. It wasn't, oh dear. How did all the sociopaths get up there? Who gave them a key? Oh man. Okay. So I was acknowledging his first point, baseless optimism, but then the other is self-indulgent pessimism, which I do see a lot of that in the circles I run in. And maybe the circles you run in, and the Twitter circles as well, the filter bubbles that we're in, you do see a lot of kind of just, hey, it's over. Just, I don't know, have fun. Do a lot of Coke and both the soda and the powder. And yeah, just enjoy your day because it's all over. I see those people. I hear that from friends sometimes, even friends that spend their days fighting this stuff. Some of them will go, I think it's over. Let's just have a good time. Some of it's burnout, but I do see a lot of that. So Giannis continues, prediction is not our friend. We know everything we need to know in order to act. Humanity is on a path to ruin without any guarantee that we can turn back. That's enough knowledge. Unlike astronomers seeking to predict the trajectory of a faraway comet, and I don't know that he's doing intentionally, but he's kind of referencing Don't Look Up, the movie by Adam McKay, which I think I gave Adam some of the ideas that got into that movie. I'm not bragging, but I'm bragging. I'm not bragging, but I'm bragging. During our one interview together. Anyway, if you haven't seen Don't Look Up, you should watch it. It's an analogy, a metaphor for climate crisis and how various groups do different things. The greedy find ways to exploit it, which they will keep doing with climate crisis. The religious say, "Oh, God will handle it." The pessimists say, "It's fucking over. Have a good time." And then the optimists say, which I don't think they show much of them in the movie, but say, they got it. The powerful people will fix it. They'll fix it. But unlike astronomers seeking to predict the trajectory of a faraway comet, our current task is not and should never be to predict the trajectory of climate change. Astronomers have the luxury of knowing that the phenomenon they study, the comet, doesn't give a damn about their predictions of its trajectory. You can say the comet's going to do something, not going to change the path of the comet. He says, we don't have that luxury. Our predictions, to the extent that enough people take them seriously, are crucial determinants of what people do. Thus, the phenomenon we are struggling to fathom and control, humanity-driven climate change, cares deeply about our predictions. And in an infinite regress, it is bound violently to react to them, rendering our predictions useless and potentially causing us to lose any control over the phenomenon we might have at hand. And, you know, he's saying that if scientists predict that it's not going to be that bad, well, then don't give a fuck. Just don't worry about it. If scientists predict it's going to be okay as long as we stop using fossil fuels in 10 years, then everybody will just go to bed and go, oh, well, yeah, we'll stop 10 years from now. That's fine. Yeah, we said that 10 years ago. How'd that go? So he's saying the predictions matter, unlike with a comet. What should our task be once forecasting is out? You know, once we're no longer worried, once we understand this is serious, possibly critically serious to the point that it's too late already. Now that we can already acknowledge that, what should our goals be? What should our tasks be? Well, okay, let's stop predicting. Let's stop worrying about the prediction. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's not. Doesn't matter at this point. It's time to fight. Doesn't matter whether it's too late or not. What should our task be once forecasting is out? My answer is to end the legalized robbery of people and Earth, fueling climate catastrophe and the broader ecocide. Even if it is too late, at least let's go out with a revolutionary bang. Let the last feeling we have be that we did what we could. We must inspire the multitudes to join our rebellion. But to inspire them, we need to articulate a program that addresses people's hearts and minds. What should that program consist of? This is the pressing question. And you know, there are a lot of answers to this as to what the program should be, what the future should be, how we should predict it, what it should look like. But I think everyone should be giving ideas. We should open the market of ideas should be vast. And basically what should be out is profit over all else. What should be out is gaining riches from the environment, from the rivers, from the wind and the solar. And it should not be about profit. It should be about saving this planet for a future. And there's a lot of things that could look like. It could look like the Amish. It could look like some awesome high technology, crazy, holy shit future. It could look like from here on out, we churn our own butter. And it could look like everybody's got a printed tiny home, 3D printed tiny home. You ever seen those things? They can 3D print. Looks like one of those fucking things where you squeeze icing on a cake where you're spelling something. It looks like one of those things, except without the hands. But it's just oozing. It's like shitting out whatever mechanical computerized rectum shits out concrete into like a pattern that builds a house. You know, it's fucking. It's pretty magical. And so they could build tons of tiny homes for people. I mean, I've gone on about housing endlessly, so we don't need to do it again. But not only could have tiny homes, you could give everybody in America their own living space. There's 17 million living spaces empty across the United States. So let's not pretend there's not enough housing. But yeah, so, I just gave you two options. You got the Amish option, you got the high tech awesome option, but there's a lot of others. There's in between. Maybe we chill out and we don't fly all over the world every day, but we still have our own electric butter churn. Like a nice middle ground. Amish light. Oh, so it would be called Amish. There you go. Are you Amish? No, I'm Amish. Giving up on, and I'm now realizing that's an old joke about Jewish. Are you Jewish? Nah, I'm Jewish. Giving up. He continues, giving up on humanity and its collective ingenuity may be tempting in times like the present, when war is once more turbocharging the fossil fuel industry. Alas, such defeatism is impermissible for progressives. This, our darkest hour, is precisely the time when we, progressives, radicals, revolutionaries, must give back rational hope to those who have been deprived of it. And I agree with that as well. Like, I think, there are some people in the climate movement who say, like, why continue acting like this is that we could fight for change? They want to be just, it's all over. And I don't think, like, no one signs up for that. No one ever, like, if you're looking for anyone to help with the fight, to fight back, to stand up, no one ever signs up for it's over. No, there's no one out there with signs. It's all fucked and it's done. I don't know why I'm standing here right now. Like, if people ask, do you have hope? It's like, why would I be talking about this shit if I had no hope? If I had no hope, Jesus Christ, it'd be just martinis all day long. I actually don't like martinis, but still, that sounded funnier. But yeah, it'd be like, what? Of course you got to have some hope or you wouldn't fight for it. Yeah, there are people without any hope, but they're not watching this right now, and at least not for more than 12 seconds, and they're not at protests, and they're not chaining themselves to oil pipelines. So you might as well have some hope, because that's what people sign up to join. They join the thing that says we can do this. And as Yanis Varoufakis, great economist, is saying, maybe it's too late, maybe it's not, but you should behave and act as if it's not too late, because the other option is not an option. The other option is not an option. I don't know if that's a Yogi Berra quote, but if not, I'll take it. All right, so I'm going to come back on another episode. We've already done like a half an hour of that segment. So I'm going to come back on another episode and discuss his analysis of the debate going on in this realm on this topic. But I want to get to a bunch of other great topics, great issues going on right now. So we will do this again another day, but I thought that part was important. All right, so this was a WikiLeaks anniversary. Might have been yesterday. That WikiLeaks was posting about, as almost all of you know, Julian Assange continues to flounder. Sorry. I was going to say flounder in purgatory or whatever, but that's way too light a term. He continues to be tortured, and I don't like this one hair that's just bugging me right here. It's this one. You ever get the one? Jesus. Julian Assange is, I'm not going to say flounder. He is fucking being tortured in Belmarsh prison in London. He's been there for many years. Before that, he was in essentially a single room Ecuadorian embassy in London, or 2 rooms. So he's basically been in prison for over 10 years. And this was done intentionally. This is not, and by the way, all of the so-called issues that they had initially, which was why he went into the Ecuadorian embassy, they've dropped all those charges because there was nothing there. So they now have invented new stuff for his indictments about Espionage Act, saying that he's not allowed to publish the reality of our world, what our government, and it's not even his government, which is another issue. He's not American, never been in America. I mean, his business never worked from America. And WikiLeaks is not centered in America. Like, there is nothing connecting him to America, and yet America wants to extradite him to the U.S. to be tortured in their prisons, our prisons, for the rest of his life. Anyway, many of you already know that, but I'm sorry. You have to repeat it because it is so fucking insane. This is the best and most talented publisher to maybe to ever live, considering WikiLeaks has never published anything wrong. But I'll just say of our lifetime. WikiLeaks tweeted out 12 years ago today, WikiLeaks began publishing Cablegate in conjunction, and this is an important fact, in conjunction with major media outlets, The Guardian, Le Monde, El País, Der Spiegel, and New York Times. All right, these are the top media outlets in multiple countries. 9 days later, its publisher, Julian Assange, is arrested and has been in detention ever since. And after he was arrested, all of those outlets and all of the mainstream media stopped using his work for stories and stopped defending him. Basically, it was the mainstream media is so cowardly, and obviously in multiple countries, and so pathetic and so spineless that even as one of their own is kidnapped and imprisoned. I mean, he voluntarily went into the Ecuadorian embassy because he was going to be kidnapped, but then he was kidnapped out of the, like literally dragged by armed men out of the Ecuadorian embassy and put into prison. So as one of their own is kidnapped and locked up and tortured for publishing, for the job that ostensibly these other media outlets are also doing, they don't defend him. It's the most outrageous piece of shit move. I mean, if you have no other reason to dislike the mainstream media, then you can choose this one. Just use this one. You don't even need to know anything else they're publishing. But also, for those of you who don't know Cablegate, by the way, I should be I'm supposed to be interviewing Stella Morris, Julian Assange's wife, for an hour in January. So I know that's not around the corner, but if you want to be kept up to date on when that happens, please subscribe at youtube.com/behind the headlines. I'll put it in the comment section. I know that's not the YouTube channel you're used to, but it's the one with Mint Press that I work with. So youtube.com/behind the headlines. So subscribe there. But something you should know about Cablegate, if you're unfamiliar with that, is like they're saying, this is millions of cables, or hundreds of thousands. Let's see. I have another image here. Hundreds of thousands, and you know, I haven't even read that many of them. Most people around the world have not read that many of them, but they reveal the inner workings of the American empire in a way that nothing else ever had. And if you want kind of the Cliff's Notes of Cablegate, read the book, which is edited by Julian Assange, the WikiLeaks files. And it's essentially, I think it's only about Cablegate, but he takes these hundreds of thousands of cables that you and I cannot possibly go through, and he and many others work to make them understandable in terms of what was going on in the world then. But, you know, to give one example that I remember from, or actually two examples that I remember from the book, and honestly, I don't even think I read the whole thing. I probably need to pick it back up again. But it's the type of thing you could read a few pages and learn a lot. But to give one example, these cables reveal just how desperate the United States was to stop the International Criminal Court. The International Criminal Court, it's an international group in The Hague that was designed to arrest international war criminals and lock them up, or at least prosecute them. And the U.S. fought tooth and nail against this. And you see that in the cables, how they're threatening other countries with, like, we're going to do this if you sign on. We're going to do this if you sign on. All these various little threats to stop other countries from signing on to the International Criminal Court. Ultimately, not only did the U.S. not sign on, but the U.S., including Congress, it went through Congress, passed what many have called the Hague Invasion Act, in which we say that if the International Criminal Court were to ever arrest an American for war crimes, and let's be honest, lots of war crimes to choose from, every American president in my lifetime, in many lifetimes, has been a war criminal. If the bill says that was passed by Congress, signed by the president, that if they were locked up in The Hague, if the International Criminal Court arrested a U.S. war criminal and locked them up in The Hague, the U.S. would invade the Netherlands, which is fucking amazing. I mean, that's when you know. That's when you know someone's afraid of the skeletons in their closet. Another fun fact about the ICC, International Criminal Court, is, and I don't know what the number is now, but a couple of years ago, there was an article on how I think over 90% of everybody they've brought charges against for war crimes has been black. So if that tells you something about what the ICC is really doing, they're bringing the only black war criminals to justice. I see some of you are chatting about the song that led into this. Sorry, there was some printing on the screen saying what it is, but yes, it's by Rooftop Revolutionaries, and it's called Chains, and it's on the album Resolute. So definitely check that out if you'd like. It's on Spotify and all those places. But obviously, the band and the musicians benefit much more if you buy the music instead of go to Spotify. But yes, Chains by Rooftop Revolutionaries. So that was something I remembered from Cablegate. If you check out the WikiLeaks files. Here's another tweet. 12 years ago today, WikiLeaks began publishing Cablegate. 50 years of the 175-year sentence faced by Julian Assange relates solely to this publication. And he says on this little graphic, they say it helped kick off the Arab Spring. The Public Library of U.S. Diplomacy, the PLUSD, is a growing collection of over 3 million diplomatic cables from 274 consulates and embassies. The PLUSD began with 250,000 U.S. diplomatic cables in Cablegate. 10 years, 10 million documents revealed by WikiLeaks. And this is why Julian Assange should have statues built in his honor, not be in prison. It's totally horrific. And as I said at the beginning of this, it shows how pathetic, cowardly, spineless, and just fucking pieces of shit your mainstream media is. And I get, I've been in newsrooms. I get that your mainstream media is made up of kind of two people. There are the people who understand exactly what they're doing, that they're there to make propaganda for the U.S. empire, and they're like, let's do it. And they don't give a shit whether it's true or not. And they're like, hey, here's I get a lot of money. All right, great. And they get it. And then there's a lot of people that work there that just haven't bothered to dig deeper. And they wanted to be in news. They wanted to be a journalist. Now they have a job, a lower level at CNN, and they're like, I'm doing it. I'm revealing the truth to the world. And they have just never questioned a lot of these things, a lot of what the U.S. empire does, a lot of the propaganda, but they're equally cowardly because they've got to know Julian Assange is a publisher, is a journalist, and they got to know that he's been tortured for 10 years. And if they don't know that, then they certainly shouldn't be working at a news outlet. All right. I'm going to do one more story, and then the rest of this will be at rumble.com/Lee Camp. That's rumble.com/Lee Camp. But all right, here we go. I just found this one funny. This is, it also shows, speaking of CNN propaganda. So you guys know probably that there are protests in Iran right now. Some of it is genuine, as tends to happen with countries that the U.S. government wants to destroy. There are genuine protests, just like there are genuine protests in probably every country. Is there a country without any protests? But when it happens in a country that the U.S. wants to destroy, we provide all kinds of funding and propaganda and various ways to get people out on the street, various propaganda lies that get people angrier and things like that. And it's tough to say. I've watched interviews with Iranians, and many of them say it's tough to say what the actual truth is that sparked off these protests. But just ignoring that, there can be genuine protests in countries. I don't support any oligarchy. I don't support any ruling class, because these wars should be class wars. And so, and you know, maybe I'm belaboring the point, but genuine protests. However, then the U.S. empire says, "Hey, it's propaganda time," and they flood it with propaganda. It's also happening in China. Someone pointed out, yes, it's happening right now in China. There are some protests, but you look at a Guardian headline, and it's like, or if CNN or any of them, you look at them and they're like, "China's destroyed my protesters," and I doubt that. It'd be like if there were Black Lives Matter protests across the United States, many of them involved destroying police cars and burning buildings and stuff. Not many of them, a few. But was China, were there articles like U.S. collapses due to race protests? And no, it's part of our propaganda. That's how we do our propaganda. But this was a new one. I had not seen this kind of propaganda. This was a fascinating way to go about the propaganda. So Iran is calling for the U.S. to be kicked out of the World Cup after it changes the Iran flag on social media to show support for protesters. So what the U.S. did, this is what the image is what the Iranian flag looks like. And the U.S. took the symbol out of the center, which apparently symbol is part of the symbol for the protesters. And so they digitally altered the flag at the oh, here it is. Okay, so here's an example. They took the emblem out of the middle to create the flag of the protesters. And so, I mean, it's hilarious that our propaganda has gotten to that level. We're just going to change all their flags because we can't actually, the reality of the situation, it doesn't favor us. So instead, we're just going to change their flags. But so could you imagine if Iran or Russia or someone in their coverage of the World Cup, when they were showing an image like this, they replaced the USA flag with like a Black Lives Matter flag or like a fucking, I don't know, an XR, Extinction Rebellion flag, or I Can't Breathe emblem. It'd be amazing. So I think they should do that. They should change them on their social media. But to me, this reeks of desperation for U.S. propaganda. Where, does the U.S. government have a point about the way the systems the world should operate under, or do they not? If they don't, then you get into this garbage. If you are destroying people's lives around the world, and we've killed 6 million, that's the analysis, 6 million people over the past 20 years with just the war on terror. That's not counting like the sanctions on Venezuela, which the UN rapporteur said has killed 100,000 over the past few years. So just in the war on terrors, the wars on terror, or whatever the fuck, our war on an emotion, which we're going to win that soon, win that war on the emotion. Just in that, we've killed 6 million people over the past 20 years. So if you are an empire causing that much destruction, that much harm, that much misery, then you can't put forward your actual real life talking points, your real life stances. Instead, you have to do shit like this, and you have to put forward fake lies about China and lies about Russia and lies about Ukraine. You can't actually, and that's why the truth is so dangerous. It's why I'm the most censored comedian in America. For those who are new to my stuff, I've had my TV show sanctioned into oblivion. canceled. I've had my YouTube channel, my big YouTube channel, banned globally. All of the videos, over 1,000 videos, banned globally. My podcast deleted from Spotify, and my Facebook shadow banned. And if you can't handle a comedian speaking the truth like this, then your empire's on shaky ground, okay? Then you're having a rough time. It's like the Jeff Foxworthy joke, right? If you can't handle a comedian telling you the truth, telling people the truth, and you have to censor them around the world, then your empire might be on solid ground. Sorry, that analogy only went so far. Thank you, Bad Wolf, who says you loved my TV show. Well, there's a new version of it called The Most Censored News that is at youtube.com/behind the headlines. And I often play it at the end of these episodes. I don't have a new one for you today, but I often play it at the end of the live stream. All right, we are going on to some more topics. I'm going to talk about that 4-day work week. I'm going to talk about what schools are doing in place of detention and suspension. Actually, another good news story. Could you believe it, that there could be something better for children than locking them in a room and making them stare at a wall? Anyway, all of that's coming up. Call of Duty, a PSYOP. All of that's coming up. Rumble.com/Lee Camp. I will see you there right now. And if you're already there at rumble.com/Lee Camp, then nothing will change. It'll keep going as is. Also, if you, even if you're not going to follow us to Rumble, which is free, rumble.com/Lee Camp, I hope you'll become a member at leecamp.net. You can sign up for free. You won't get everything. I hope you'll become a member because that's the only way I keep this show going. So if you feel like you've got $1 out of this show so far, please sign up at leecamp.net. You'll also get the Q&A every Friday. That's when I get to chat with you folks. That's when I get to actually pay attention to your comments and everything more effectively. So